Hey, what's happening everybody? My name is Jeremy in case you're new here, and in today's video I'm going to be covering 5 GoPro editing tips. Now I've done a bunch of GoPro tip videos on my channel, so when you're done with this video, you know what to do. Alright, so let's get into this video for 5 GoPro editing tips. So the quick explanation for the red filter is to basically do like an automatic color correction on the fly as you're shooting to make your shots look better while you're going scuba diving or going snorkeling into blue water. If you're going into greenish water, you want to use a magenta filter. Now the purpose of this tip is not to tell you to go buy a filter. I want to show you an easier way that you can do in editing, in GoPro Studio specifically, or any other editing software. You should have this capability of color correcting. So let's check it out. So you can see from my shot here that it looks very green. It doesn't look good. So basically what I want to do is bring the split point to the 50% mark, and what I'm going to do in the temperature settings is bring that up a little bit, and then the tint I'm going to bring to the left side. So we could already see that it's looking a lot better. So I'm going to press play and see what it looks like, and drag the split point all the way across so you can see what the before looks like and the after. So yeah, that's just a quick and easy tip that you can use in GoPro Studio to improve your videos while shooting underwater. Now, if you don't want to be bothered with any video editing, just go with the filter. It's cheap. These are by Polar Pro, and if you're interested in that, in the description I'll have a link to that. So yeah, let's get to tip number 2. I stress this next tip a lot in all my GoPro related tutorials, and if you want an awesome GoPro edit, you need a lot of cuts. And you need those cuts to happen on the beats of your song. So you just need a lot of cuts, because if you just have a straight edit of just a point of view angle or long cuts, it gets boring. So you want to intercut to different angles, different shots, and it'll make your edit look a lot more professional. So I want to show you in GoPro Studio how to cut on the beat so that your edits will turn out amazing. Okay, so I have GoPro Studio here. I have 4 clips on the timeline with my song down below, and we'll just take a quick look and see what the shots look like with the music. So yeah, this is pretty cool, just relaxing, I guess, whatever, with the beat. But obviously you can see it's, the shots are too long. You don't want the shots to be too long. So the first thing I notice in the beginning is there's a change of the music where it drops right there. So I'm gonna pull the cursor to the point where that beat drops. The way you cut on the beat is you put the cursor on the beat right before it starts, and then you cut it with the split point tool here. So now that clip, okay, let me do it again. There you go. Now that clip is actually cut. So I'm going to click on this clip to the right because I don't want anything to the right of it, and I'm just going to press the delete key, and now it's gone. So if we listen to this again now, it's going to go from this beginning shot to there, and then there's that snare right there. So right there. So I'm going to cut this because nobody wants to look at my face, and I'm going to delete everything to the right. There we go, deleted, and now it's going to go to this, but I'm going to bring the cursor to about right there and delete everything to the left because I want my snowboard in the shot. And I'm going to cut on the next snare, which is about right there. Hit the split point tool, the split tool, and going to delete everything to the right, and now this is going to be the next clip. Okay, cool. So I'm pretty happy with this. This is probably not the best example for a sweet edit, but here we go. Now for this next tip, we're also going to use GoPro Studio, and what I want to show you is how to use keyframes. And what I want to show you specifically is how to pan a shot from the left side to the right side, and using this tip will be perfect for time lapses. Alright, so I got my clip in the timeline here in GoPro Studio, and I used the 2.7K video time-lapse mode on my Hero 4 Black. So the first thing I want to do is, well, first of all, this is the clip. It's just a time-lapse of me sitting on this huge rock. So I'm just going to go to the beginning of the clip again, and over on the right side you got your framing controls. And what you want to do first is zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go in about this far, and I'm going to position horizontally all the way to the left side of the frame, about right there. And I'm going to hit this button here. This is going to be the keyframe. So we add that. Now I'm going to go to the end of the clip, or to about right here, and I'm going to hit the keyframe button again, and then I'm going to position the shot horizontally to the right side, to about right there. So now when we watch the clip from the beginning, you'll see that the shot will move across. So you're simulating like a panning time lapse. Alright, so this next tip has to do with maintaining the quality of your GoPro edit when you upload it to YouTube. As you all know, when you upload your video to YouTube, YouTube recompresses it and then it just looks totally different than it did while it was on your computer. So when you have shaky footage, YouTube does not know what to do with it, and it's just going to look crazy pixelated, ugly, and that's not what you want. So what you need to work on is try to figure out how to keep your shots more stable. In my last video, I talked about a tip where you can, if you're just walking, you could put the GoPro on your head or on your chin, and your GoPro will stay stable. Now, if you're doing like extreme crazy sports, like maybe BMXing or snowboarding, skiing, you're gonna have a lot of shake. So, the only thing you could really do there is maybe use a stabilizer. Now, another thing that you need to avoid at all costs is like shooting in dark situations. But if you have to, you're gonna have to enable the low light feature on your GoPro, and also enable Pro Tune if you can, and bump up that ISO. But like I said, dark footage, GoPros, and YouTube do not mix well at all. Now, another thing that I want to cover is export settings. I want to talk about the export settings that I use in Adobe Premiere Pro and also in GoPro Studio, so that you have great quality GoPro edits on YouTube. Couldn't get that out. Alright, so I'm in my export settings in Adobe Premiere Pro CS6, and for the format, I normally go for H.264. For preset, I'll go down to 1080p, 2997, and then I'll go down below and adjust a few more settings. So I'll go to Profile and make that high. Level, I'll change to 5.1. I'll check off Render at maximum depth. And I'll need to go back up here because it changed it to 5994. I want it to be 2997. And now down here at the bitrate, I normally leave it at 32, but for this particular edit, I bumped it up to 35, so that's what I did. And then for maximum bitrate, I put it up to 45. So that's really all I do in Adobe Premiere Pro for all of my edits, and they tend to come out pretty good. So now let's go to GoPro Studio, and I'll show you my export settings in there. Alright, we're in GoPro Studio now. I'm still in step 1, and before you go to step 2, I just want to show you, go to advanced settings and make sure the quality is set to high. And then you could just do remember settings, click OK, add clip to conversion list, and then convert all, and then we'll go to the export settings next. Okay, so I go to custom, and H.264 is fine, 1080p, that's what I want, and 2997. And I'm just going to do the same thing as I did in Premiere. I'm just going to put this to about 35. And then you end up with a 50 megabyte file. So that's really all I do. Alright, so this last tip number 5, has to do with slow motion. I've seen a bunch of GoPro edits on YouTube, and I see a lot of people using slow motion incorrectly. Now, what I mean by that is they're slowing down their footage to the incorrect percentages. So if you shoot at 60 frames per second, you don't want to go any lower than 50% for playback. 50% will be 30 frames per second, so you'll have a really smooth playback. Now, if you go to 120 frames per second, you can actually slow that down to 25%, but you don't want to go lower than 25% because at that point it'll start being choppy and won't be smooth playback. So down in the description, I'm going to have a list of all the frame rates and the corresponding percentages that you could slow down your footage to, and you don't want to go any lower than that, but you can go higher than that depending on how slow you actually want to go. Alright, so that's going to be it for the 5 GoPro editing tips. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, you know what to do. Hit the like button. That helps me know that, this is actually helpful to you, and it actually motivates me to sit in front of the camera and put these videos together. If you have any other comments, questions, or a request for maybe a part 2 to this series, leave it down below. And I realized this video was kind of long, over 10 minutes, so let me know if, this length is okay, or if I should condense it a little more. But anyway, like I said, I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!